Hello Scorpio, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business, also as a teacher of astrology in those 40 years and metaphysical subjects. I've got 30,000 clients worldwide, and it's my pleasure to welcome you Scorpio to this video on your cycles and predictions and events and conditions for July and August 2014. So you just sit back and relax now, Scorpio, and enjoy the journey here with me. What I'm going to do for you, first of all, is I'm going to tell you a few things about yourself. That's always quite a bit of fun, to tell you about the depth of your personality and the type of events and conditions that you'll experience in life on a lifetime basis, and what sort of qualities and principles and values that you're in the process of developing within yourself in this incarnation. And then I'm going to look at the slower moving bodies through the houses of your horoscope, Scorpio. And they are Saturn, which takes 2.5 years to go through a particular house of your horoscope. So it's very impactful. And also Jupiter takes 12 months to transit through a particular house of your horoscope, and that's very impactful as well. One of them is impactful detrimentally, Saturn. It's the taskmaster, what you might say, and Jupiter is very impactful beneficially and expansively. And then I'm going to look at the faster moving bodies through this 2-month period and tell you what's coming up on a week-by-week basis with the movement of the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars through the houses of your horoscope, and which houses that they'll impact during that 2-month period, Scorpio. So you enjoy the journey with me here. First of all, just a few preliminaries, as I always do with these videos, is to lay the groundwork for what I'm going to impart to you, and to tell you a few things about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. So Scorpio, you are a mystery package, and you have been on a long journey through hundreds of lifetimes to get where you are today. And you are a very deep and introspective type of person, and you're strongly attracted towards the mysteries and the spiritual side of life. And you've been on a long journey for the last 90,000 years through various continental expressions here on Earth, and you've lived hundreds of lifetimes in that period to get where you are today. And all of us are on this path of growth. We've all signed up to come in and out of life time after time after time into incarnation until we reach a level of relative perfection, and then we can move on into higher dimensions of consciousness beyond the human level altogether. But obviously the fact that we're all still here, we haven't reached a level of relative perfection. So we're all here making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. Now God and Goddess are running the show, and they've given us 2 beautiful gifts, Scorpio. They've given us the gift of eternal life. First of all, we can never ever die, and so that's a beautiful gift to have, because all of us really love life, even in our hard times. And another gift that they've given us, Scorpio, is the gift to consciously create our reality in accordance and compliance with our conscious choice. Now, most of us, Scorpio, don't want to accept that responsibility of consciously creating our reality, because we don't want to sort of admit that, hey, I've created everything that's happening in my life, because we're not happy with the events and conditions of our life. Many times we've got broken relationships and problems with health and difficulties with money and problems with our self-esteem and difficulties with relationships, and we're full of fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity and so forth. And so we don't want to admit that we're the ones who've created all of this. So we want to find out, who can I blame? And so naturally the first ones that we want to blame is mum and dad. Mum, she didn't love me good enough. Dad, he was not there, or something like that. Or he was bad to me in some way, didn't treat me right. And or else the ex-boss who fired me, he's the one to blame. Or that offender, they're the one to blame. That ex-spouse is always a good one too, who deceived me and let me down and got into a deceptive relationship and so forth, and cheated on me, and so they're the one to blame. They're the ones who are responsible for all of the events and conditions that I'm experiencing in my life. So they did it to me. Now what happens, Scorpio, when we go along that line of projection, is that subconsciously we are trying to keep ourselves in a limited state, in a state of limitation, and a state of blockages and negative events and conditions that we're experiencing, because if everything's going well in our life, we can no longer point the finger of blame at them. And so therefore subconsciously we want to be able to blame, and so therefore we keep ourselves in that limited state, Scorpio, where we're experiencing negative events, negative financial conditions, negative problems with communications, difficulties in security in the home, problems in relationships, difficulties with health, problems with our job, difficulties in marital relationships and partnerships and so forth. So all of us have got these hidden agendas there inside of ourselves, Scorpio, whereby we are keeping ourselves in these limited states of experience in life, limited events and conditions, and we all wallow in self-pity and fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity and low self-esteem and problems with our self-image, and we believe that we don't deserve to be loved, and that's not to mention, of course, our secrets and our shame and our addictions. Addictions to food that's not good for us, addictions to sex, addictions to alcohol, addictions to drugs, or addictions to whatever. So we're all in there in the same deal. We're all experiencing all of these things in life because that's the nature of reality. But the thing is that we are creating all of the events of our life, Scorpio, through our raw materials. And everybody has the same raw materials, Scorpio, and they are our attitudes, beliefs, thoughts and feelings. And those attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings sponsor decisions and choices. And many of those decisions and choices are not in our own best interests. And so because we have these negative attitudes and beliefs and thoughts and feelings there in the subconscious mind, we're creating a whole bundle of negative conditions and events in our life, because they are the things that are creating. They're the raw materials, and they're the things that are creating all of the events and conditions of our life. We all have three tools, Scorpio, and those three tools are our desire, our imagination, and our expectancy. What do we desire to happen? What do we imagine is going to happen? And what do we expect is going to happen? And that's the thing that happens. You see, every single one of these thoughts that we have, and we have 50,000 thoughts a day, Scorpio, 50,000 thoughts a day. So our mind is very busy. And a lot of those thoughts are very repetitive. And what happens is that those thoughts are living things, living in our aura, called thought forms. And those thought forms, being very repetitive for decades, are full of energy and wanting to express themselves as an event and condition in your life. And so the planets move through the houses of your horoscope, and as they move through the houses of your horoscope, they activate these thought forms and precipitate them into conditions and events in your life that you want to say you didn't create. But you've created them by your raw materials. But God and Goddess have given you the gift of being able to create them consciously instead of subconsciously, as most of us are doing. And that means taking back your power from that subconscious mind who doesn't have choice. You're the one with the choice. You're the one with the conscious mind. You're the one with conscious choice. And that's the most powerful force in the universe, is conscious choice. So you have the choice as to which way that your mind goes and which direction that it's going to go into. And therefore, which of those thought forms are you going to pump up through the energy of the mind? Because there's a law in the universe that energy follows thought. And you're pumping up those thought forms by your constant habit patterns of thinking and feeling. And the idea is to be able to switch them from that line of thinking to a more positive and constructive line of thinking, Scorpio. And then those other thought forms die of attrition over a period of time, and you end up with positive attitudes and positive beliefs and positive thoughts and positive feelings that change your level of self-esteem and your self-image and your beliefs about money and so on and so forth, and relationships. Instead of saying relationships never work out for me and I'm unlovable, yes, relationships now do work out for me and I do love myself. You can't love another until you first of all love yourself, and most of us don't love ourselves sufficiently. So that's just a little bit about the nature of reality and your place in that reality, and the wonderful gifts, Scorpio, that God and Goddess have given us in this reality that we find ourselves in. We're all signed up. We're all committed to these series of incarnations, so you might as well make the most of it and produce abundance and happiness in your life. Anyway, I'll go on to that more a little bit later on perhaps, but now I just want to tell you a few things about yourself. Now, you're a very deep person, Scorpio, very intense and a little bit stubborn in your moods and feelings. You're highly sexed, and that's one of the big problems that you have in life, is addictions to your sexual patterns of behaviour. And you're very emotional, very vivid imagination. You're strongly attracted towards the mysteries of life because you're the greatest mystery of all. So therefore you're definitely attracted towards the mysteries of life, and especially life after death and what it all means and stuff like that. And you're very goal-oriented with regard to money. You're all the time striving to improve yourself on financial levels. And you are quite reserved in speech. You keep a lot of things to yourself. You don't engage in idle chatter. You're very practical with regard to things like motor vehicles and keeping the services up on the car and looking after your car and things like that. You're very reserved when it comes, and practical when it comes to driving, so you don't drive recklessly or anything like that. Okay, now you live in unusual circumstances. There's an unusual family environment there. So you have two different lots of parents, or you have a breakup in your family home, or you live under unusual circumstances where your mum and dad are just living together, didn't bother getting married, or there's some sort of a crisis there early in life for you to do with the family and the domestic side of life, a breakup of your parents or something unusual there. There's quite often secret romantic involvements in your life, Scorpio, and you do have a lot of secret worries about children. You tend to have a strong leaning toward drugs and alcohol as a form of recreation, so you can abuse yourself and knock yourself around quite a lot, and they can represent addictive patterns of behaviour that you do become enamoured with, and a lot of secret worries in life, generally about the social side of your life and matters relating to children. Now, you wear a uniform dust coat or overalls in your job at some time in your life, and you work in a position where you like to be your own boss. So you like to be in business for yourself, you like to be self-employed or on a contract basis and things like that. And you've got a take charge attitude in life when it comes to the work environment. Now you marry a person who's very good looking and very possessive in their nature. Well, that'll do as far as your personality is concerned, and a little bit of a look there at your lifetime conditions and events in your life. What I'm going to do for you now, Scorpio, is look at those cycles that you're living through over the next 2 months, and I'll start off with our Saturn. Now Saturn is very slow moving, Scorpio, and it takes 2.5 years to transit through a particular house of your horoscope, and you've got Saturn in the first house of your horoscope currently, and it's been there for at least the last 12 months, so you've experienced some ill health in the last 12 months, and you've experienced a lot of frustrations. You've been under the law of practicality in the last 12 months, whereby you've had to really be wise with regard to the use of energy and time and money. You have had to really pull yourself up by the bootstraps and be very practical and down to earth with regard to the use of energy and time and money in the last 12 months. Otherwise you would end up experiencing sickness. And so you've had a few frustrations in your life with regard to personal initiatives and interests, and you've had to be thrown back upon your own practical resources to be able to plan things out more strictly and economically and time-wise and so forth, to give your plans structure and form in order to be able to manifest them as conditions and events in your life. Now Saturn is retrograde in your horoscope at the moment too, Scorpio, so that means that you are experiencing some difficulties with other houses of your horoscope as well, and they are the third house through relatives. So you've got a relative who's sick, you're having problems with neighbours, difficulties and problems with your lungs and the bronchial system, and you've also got problems with family, perhaps illness of a parent if they're alive, or the death of a parent, and there's some difficulty there to do with domestic and family matters. Could be plans for changes in residence, but those plans have to be obstructed or delayed. Now Jupiter is in the 9th house of your horoscope. Jupiter takes 12 months, Scorpio, to transit through a particular house of your horoscope, and you've got Jupiter in the 9th house of your horoscope at the moment, and it's been there for the last 12 months. So you have been for a distant journey perhaps in the last 12 months, or you've been for a journey in the mind by study, research and investigation of deep subjects and philosophy and so on and so forth. You've been interested in a lot of travelogues and things like that on the internet and on the television, and you've been definitely interested in expanding yourself to new horizons of understanding and so forth in the last 12 months. And Jupiter actually changes houses. It only does so once every 12 months, but it does so in your case, Scorpio, on the 17th of July. And on the 17th of July it moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. So what that means, Scorpio, is that you are going to experience tremendous growth and expansion in career or business. It's a good time for expansion and growth in career and business, changes in your career if that's on the cards, and you've got very good stars there for high achievements in your life during the period of 12 months onwards from the 17th of July. Now I'm going to look, Scorpio, at the faster moving bodies, which are the Sun, Mercury, Venus and Mars, and I'm going to put it on a timeline for you, Scorpio, on a week-by-week basis, and I'll tell you where they are at the first of the month, which house that they're sitting in, and the type of events and conditions, and those events and conditions will prevail until I tell you about a change of that body into a different house. Okay, so it's on a timeline for the 2-month period. Now, to start off with, on the 1st of July, Scorpio, the Sun is in the 9th house of your horoscope, and it's been there for the last few days, and with the Sun in the 9th house of your horoscope, there's more social involvements with people from overseas and more social involvements with in-laws. There's more involvements in terms of adult education and expansion. There's just a tremendous urge to expand yourself with the Sun in the 9th house of your horoscope, and social involvements with foreign people and so forth can ensue. Mercury is in the 8th house of your horoscope, and so is Venus. Now, when Mercury is in the 8th house of your horoscope from the 1st of July onwards, it means that there's a lot more communication about deep subjects and the secrets of manifestation and things like that. Joint finances come to the fore in terms of communication. Matters about life after death come to the fore, and there can be the death of somebody around you even. Venus moves into is in the 8th house of your horoscope as well, and so that gives you a love of the mysteries of life, with Venus in the 8th house of your horoscope, and joint finances seem to be improving around this time as well, with Venus in the 8th house of your horoscope. So your partner, perhaps if you've got one, seems to be doing well financially. There can be money coming to you from a deceased estate or something like that as well. Now, Mars is in the 12th house of your horoscope on the 1st of July, Scorpio, and with Mars in the 12th house of your horoscope, there's potential for self-undoing, self-sabotage. You'll have all sorts of secret activities that you're trying to get rid of, that you're trying to overcome, are going to come to the fore during this time from the 1st of July onwards. And with Mars in the 12th house, there can be an injury to the foot or pains in the feet. There's potential for secret romantic involvements and secret sexual expression and addictive patterns of behaviour that you're trying to overcome. Now, you can be your own worst enemy with Mars in the 12th house of your horoscope, Scorpio. Now, the first change that we have is on the 14th of July, Scorpio. Mercury moves into the 9th house of your horoscope, and with Mercury in the 9th house of your horoscope, there'll be a lot of communication about adult education, expansion, foreign travel, a lot more dealings in communication about religious and spiritual matters, and there'll be a lot more communications there with in-laws and people like that. Venus moves into the 9th house of your horoscope on the 19th of July, and with Venus in the 9th house of your horoscope, there's a lot more social involvements with in-laws if they play a prominent part in your life. There's potential for travel overseas with Venus in the 9th house, and there's a lot of social involvements with people that you've perhaps gone through courses with and things like that. A lot more social involvements revolving around religious and spiritual endeavours. Now then, on the 23rd of July, Scorpio, the Sun moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. With the Sun in the 10th house of your horoscope, Scorpio, for a month from the 23rd of July, it means that there's high achievements for you. It's a good time to change your job or your business. It's a very good time for your socially involving parents, if they're alive. And there's good stars generally for you for high achievements and self-esteem there. So you'll be more organised and able to go for high achieving projects. Now, on the 27th of July, Scorpio, Mars moves into the first house of your horoscope. Now, when Mars is in the first house of your horoscope, the first thing you notice is a lot of extra energy going through your whole system. So that comes on as perhaps a bit of aggression, higher sex drive, and impulsiveness, and headaches, and stresses and tensions in your life. So you've got to be very careful when Mars is in the first house not to act on impulse and to overdo it on things, okay? Think things through before you commence and start them. Then on the 1st of August, Mercury moves into the 10th house of your horoscope, seeing high achievements for you in regard to career and business. A lot more communications with parents, perhaps. And on the 13th of August, Venus moves into the 10th house of your horoscope. That sees good stars for job interviews, good stars for expansion in business, good stars for you socially through parents, and it's a time when things can go well for you with regard to your career on the social level. Then on the 16th of August, Scorpio, Mercury moves into the 11th house of your horoscope and remains there for 2 or 3 weeks. With Mercury in the 11th house of your horoscope, there's a lot more communication with friends. Other people's children can come into your orbit of communication and dealings, and there's a lot more club activities and group interest there during that time. Then the last one we come to, Scorpio, is the 24th of August, when the Sun moves into the 11th house of your horoscope. Now, with the Sun in the 11th house of your horoscope, Scorpio, that means that there's a lot more focus upon friends, group activities, club activities and things like that. Other people's children play a more prominent part in your life socially, and you're a lot more goal-oriented during that time. And that's as far as I go for you, Scorpio. Now, where do you go from here, Scorpio? Well, look, the object of the exercise, Scorpio, is consciousness expansion. That's the name of the game, is consciousness expansion. So all of us are on the path of life. All of us are learning and growing and reaching and stretching through the experiences of our life. So many of them are not happy experiences and conducive to harmony and happiness in our life. And we are all on the path to develop wisdom. The name of the game is to develop wisdom, Scorpio. And we develop wisdom through 2 methodologies. One is through experience. And we've all had a whole heap of experience in our life. And some of those experiences are not very happy times, not very harmonious times. And so they're painful times. And we learn from that. The other source of our wisdom is an intake of knowledge. Now, you're never going to develop wisdom just through experience, Scorpio. And you're never going to develop wisdom just through an intake of knowledge. It's a combination of the 2. Experience and an intake of knowledge, and synergistically out of it comes a whole that is greater than the sum of the parts. And that whole is wisdom. So that's the name of the game, is the development of wisdom and consciousness expansion. So all of us are on this path of life. We're signed up, we're in incarnation, and we're signed up to incarnations until we reach that level of relative perfection. We have the power to create all of the events and conditions of our life consciously. So we might as well make those conditions and events in our life more happy and more harmonious and more successful. What do you reckon? So you've got all those needs, Scorpio. You can fulfill those needs through understanding And that's where my CDs out of my first book on astrology, meditation and reincarnation will teach you all about the nature of reality and your place in that reality. You're in that reality, you might as well make it more successful. And then you can go on into having your horoscope number 2 done by me for only $10. And that's an individual 20-page analysis of you, not just according to your sun sign or according to your rising sign, but all of the planets and where they're sitting in all of the houses and all of the signs and their relationship with each other and what that means and what qualities, principles and values that you're developing in this lifetime from all of those planetary placements. Understanding is what you're trying to achieve in this life, and expansion of your consciousness is what you're trying to achieve in this life. And that's only $10. And if you want something more deeper about you, well, I'll do your horoscope number 3. But look, get stuck into my free CDs that I'll send you when you put your birth details in, and let's have some fun together. Let's grow and reach and stretch together. And then once we've got your email address, we'll be able to send you all the new videos that I'm producing all the time. So subscribe to my videos and you get them every time that I pump one out. I'm pumping them out at the rate of knots, 125 in the last 12 months or so, or the last 18 months. And they help you to become more of the giant that you truly are, Scorpio. So I thank you for your attentiveness here and look forward to working further with you should you decide to go further. Thank you.